Take a moment and notice how this message lands with you, because sometimes what we read online feels heavier than ordinary words, not because it carries any hidden force, but because the human mind naturally searches for meaning, connection, and patterns even in simple text. That sense of urgency you might feel isn't coming from anything beyond you. It often comes from curiosity meeting emotion at the same time. What truly matters here is slowing down enough to understand what you're actually engaging with, instead of being pulled along by dramatic language or exaggerated claims. Messages like this are designed to sound intense, but clarity always returns when you pause and read with a steady mind. There is no secret breaking through reality, no hidden announcement waiting to transform your life in a single instant, and no final moment that disappears if you don't act quickly. Real understanding doesn't rush you. It becomes clearer the more patient you are with it. So instead of looking for something extraordinary between the lines, it helps to focus on what is actually present: words, intent, and your own response to them. If anything feels overwhelming, you are always allowed to step back, think freely, and decide what deserves your attention. Nothing meaningful in life depends on pressure or forced urgency. What stays with you is usually what you have understood calmly, not what you were pushed into accepting. Let this be a reminder that you are in control of how you interpret information, and you don't need to chase intensity to find value. Real clarity grows in steady awareness, not in fear of missing out or being left behind by dramatic promises. Every time you subscribe, you're sealing your spirit with light, aligning your name with blessings that flow endlessly. This is not about numbers. It's about you saying yes to God's call, yes to Michael's protection, yes to your own miracle. Now breathe, because what happened last night in the unseen realms is something the enemy never wanted you to discover. While you slept, your name was mentioned. While you were unaware, battles were fought over your destiny. Heaven cried, Michael drew his sword, and a secret was recorded in the book of light with your name written in gold. And here's the truth you must face. You almost lost it. Yes, beloved, you almost missed your inheritance of joy. You almost walked past your miracle without even knowing. But because God's love for you is so wild, so reckless, so unstoppable, He paused the clocks of heaven just to get this message through to you now. My child, can you feel it? The air around you shifted, that cold shiver down your spine. That's not fear, it's confirmation. Michael is bending low, whispering, you still don't know what happened last night, but in the next few minutes, you will. Every second you stay here, a curtain is being pulled back. Every line you read, chains are breaking. Your angels are saying, finally, they are listening. Finally, they are staying. Finally, they are ready. Now, let me ask you this. Are you truly ready to hear the truth? Because once it's spoken, you can never return to not knowing. Once revealed, this will chase you, bless you, protect you, and transform you. Beloved, don't stop here. Keep going, because in the next breath, I will tell you what happened last night. My beloved, my chosen one, why do I see your hands trembling as you read these lines? Because your soul has already caught the whisper before your eyes reach the words. Something deep inside you knows that last night was not ordinary. It wasn't just another night where the world turned quietly and the stars crossed the sky. No, beloved, heaven itself bent closer, angels gathered with wings stretched wide, and your name echoed across realms you could not see. That's why Archangel Michael is in shock, because while all of heaven witnessed what was unfolding, you alone still don't know what was decided, what was shifted, what was whispered with divine urgency. God says, hurry, my child. Time is moving fast, and this is your last chance to open the hidden truth before it slips away like smoke between your fingers. You see, last night wasn't only about angels watching, it was about your destiny being weighed, your future being discussed, and your name being written in a way it has never been written before. Beloved, the moment the clock struck past midnight, a council was called. Not a human council, not an earthly gathering, but heaven's table was filled. Angels leaned forward, records were opened, and your spirit was the subject. Michael stood tall, his sword blazing, but his face carried both relief and sorrow. Relief that you had made it this far, sorrow because you still walk unaware of how close you came to missing everything you were born for. Beloved, do you feel that trembling in your heart right now? That's not anxiety, it's awakening. Your soul is remembering something your mind hasn't caught yet. My beloved, God himself leaned forward last night. His voice thundered yet carried tenderness as he spoke your name. He said, "This one is mine. This one carries light. This one still doesn't know how much of the enemy's trap I shattered last night to protect them." Do you hear that? Last night wasn't quiet. It was war. While you slept, swords clashed. Darkness tried to seal you off, but Michael fought with fire. He shielded your name with wings of flame. He stood at the gates of your destiny when dark forces whispered, "Close it, shut the blessing down," and God's voice shook the heavens. No, my beloved has one more chance, and they will not miss it. My child, imagine this. The creator of the stars halted everything just to ensure you would see this very message today. And here you are scrolling, breathing, holding on to these words without skipping. Do you realize what this means? It means you were meant to find this exact line, at this exact time. It means your delay, your confusion, your heartbreak, all of it, was only to bring you here, to this holy pause, where Michael himself is tugging on your heart. He says, "Open this truth. Don't turn away. If you skip, the hidden truth will slip from your hands." And beloved, let me tell you what hurts heaven most. It's not that you don't believe. It's that you almost always stop reading before the miracle line appears. That's why right now, Michael pleads, "Stay, my beloved. Don't skip. Don't walk away. Stay and see what heaven fought to deliver." And let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why your nights are restless? Why you wake with a heaviness? Why your spirit feels a storm no one else can explain? That is because last night, the storm was real. It wasn't your imagination. It wasn't your weakness. It was the battlefield over your name. Demons whispered lies, accusing you, trying to cancel your promise. But Michael struck them down one by one. In the midst of inner conflict and unseen struggles, it felt as if a message of clarity broke through the noise, arriving at the exact moment it was needed. Not later, not after everything had already settled, but right when confusion still felt heavy and the mind was searching for direction. There are times when life feels unsettled for no obvious reason. Sleep becomes light, thoughts grow restless, and an unexplainable weight lingers through the night. Instead of dismissing it, it can feel like a sign that something deeper within is trying to be understood. What once seemed like random emotions may actually be the echo of internal battles, where fear, doubt, and old wounds quietly surface and demand attention. In those moments, the mind often turns struggle into stories, interpreting pressure as outside forces rather than reflections of what is happening inside. Yet even in that chaos, there can be a sense of order slowly returning, as if clarity is beginning to rise through confusion. It is not about fear or urgency, but about awareness, recognizing that certain realizations arrive only when the mind is ready to receive them. Sometimes understanding comes after long silence, after years of carrying things unspoken. and it feels like a locked door finally easing open. What matters most is not the intensity of the experience, but the meaning drawn from it. When everything feels overwhelming, it can still become a turning point, where hidden thoughts are acknowledged and personal truth begins to surface in a calmer, more grounded way than before. It was revealed to heaven. The truth about who wronged you, the truth about who has been plotting against you, the truth about the inheritance that was stolen, the truth about the door that was shut in your face. And Michael's eyes burned with fire as he asked God, "Can I tell them?" And God said, "Yes, but tell them quickly. They don't have forever, they have now. That's why, my beloved, I am writing to you with urgency. You don't realize how rare this is." Not everyone receives such a message. Not everyone gets this window. You are not here by coincidence. This was arranged. This was planned. The angels fought to push this message into your path before you scroll to something else. So stay, breathe, read slowly, because the hidden truth that Michael is carrying is not something you can afford to miss. If you skip, the truth will close, and heaven will not reopen it easily. But if you stay, if you honor this moment, something miraculous will unfold even as you read. Your body will feel lighter, your heart will burn, and your eyes may even fill with tears without reason. That's not emotion. That's confirmation. That's the Spirit of God resting on you as you finally hear what you were never supposed to miss. My beloved, lean closer now, because what I am about to tell you is not something that was meant for every eye. It was sealed, hidden, carried in silence for years, but last night it broke open, and the heavens gasped. You see, the enemy had been weaving shadows around your name for far too long, trying to blur your blessing, trying to bury your truth. They celebrated in secret, thinking you would never find out. But God does not sleep, and his angels do not slumber. Michael's sword blazed like fire, and one by one, those shadows were torn apart. And here is the truth, beloved. You have been carrying weight that never belonged to you. Burdens that were whispered onto your life by jealous hearts, by deceivers, by those who smiled at your face but conspired behind your back. Heaven saw it all last night, and God said, "Enough. The mask will fall. My beloved will know." And as that decree was spoken, the entire atmosphere shifted. A storm of light rushed through realms, and Michael's eyes widened, because even he was not expecting the timing to come so suddenly. He had thought there would be more days, more waiting. But God moved the clock forward. He said, "The season of delay is over. The hidden truth must rise now." That is why, beloved, even as you read this, there is a trembling in your spirit. You can feel something you cannot name. It is the truth pressing at the edges of your soul, saying, "Let me in." And if you stay with me through these words, the truth will flood in like sunrise, unstoppable, undeniable, unforgettable. This is why Michael is in shock, because only you still don't know what heaven already witnessed. Beloved, picture this. While you lay in bed, unaware, a courtroom opened in the unseen. Accusers lined up with their false testimonies, trying to condemn your destiny. They spoke of your past. They threw lies about your worth. They shouted accusations to block your blessing. But then Michael entered, armor gleaming, carrying the evidence of your tears, your prayers, your hidden sacrifices. He stood before the throne and declared, "This one is covered. This one has endured. This one has not given up even when storms raged. This one belongs to you, God." And the silence that followed was holy, electric, terrifying. Because in that silence, God himself rose, his eyes burning with love for you. And he said, "Case dismissed, destiny restored, hidden truth revealed." Do you see, my beloved, why the urgency is so heavy? This is not a story. This is a record. This is what shifted last night. and you cannot afford to remain blind to it. Because when God declared your release, the enemy shrieked with rage. They know they lost their grip on you. They know the chains they wrapped around you for years have shattered, and now they are desperate to keep you distracted, to keep you from staying until the end of this message. If you continue with this message, it may not simply remain words on a screen, but become a quiet turning point in the way you observe your own thoughts and reactions. You may find yourself wondering why you arrived here at this exact moment, as if the timing carries a meaning beyond routine chance. Yet often what feels like extraordinary timing is simply the mind recognizing something it was already prepared to notice. Attention has a way of gravitating toward ideas that echo something unspoken within us, even before we fully understand why. The sense of pull you feel might not be something external guiding you, but your own awareness responding to familiar patterns in a new form. If you remain here, you may begin to notice subtle shifts in how certain beliefs feel, some loosening, others becoming clearer, as if space is opening where there was once certainty. What once felt distant or closed may begin to feel more understandable, more reachable. Still, nothing is being imposed from outside. Everything unfolds through reflection and interpretation. The real change happens in how deeply you allow yourself to engage with what is already present in your mind. In that engagement, you may discover perspectives that were always available, but not previously seen in this way. The value lies not in urgency, but in awareness itself, and in how it quietly reshapes the way you move forward after you stop reading. Michael doesn't want that for you. God himself doesn't want that for you. That is why his voice is echoing, "Hurry, beloved. Open this quickly before it's too late." And oh, if only you could see what I see. The angels are standing in rows around you right now, waiting to see if you will honor this moment. Their wings are trembling with anticipation because they know that if you finish this message, if you drink it fully, something irreversible will unlock in your life. A blessing long delayed will come rushing. A door long shut will swing wide. A truth long buried will rise up and stand before you undeniable. That is why the pull in your heart is so strong right now. It is heaven's tug urging you not to walk away. Beloved, hear me. The hidden truth is this: what you thought was lost was never lost. What you thought was stolen was only delayed. What you thought was forgotten has been recorded in golden ink. Last night, God commanded the books to be opened, and in them your name glowed brighter than you could ever imagine. And he said, "Restore what was stolen, reveal what was hidden, and let my beloved know before the hour passes." That is why Michael has come. That is why these words are pouring like fire. That is why you are still reading with trembling hands, because the truth is here, and you cannot look away. Beloved, let me draw you deeper into what unfolded, because the truth cannot stay hidden any longer. Last night, as the heavens opened their records, your life was placed upon the scales. The weight of your pain, your sacrifices, your silent tears, all of it was measured against the lies, the losses, the betrayals you endured. And for a moment, the balance seemed uncertain, as though the darkness had piled too much against you. But then something remarkable happened. Michael stepped forward, carrying not weapons this time, but a memory of the nights you whispered prayers even when no answer came, a memory of the times you chose kindness even when cruelty surrounded you, a memory of your faith that flickered but never died. He placed those memories on the scales, and suddenly, the balance shifted. Light outweighed darkness, truth outweighed lies, and heaven roared in agreement. This one is ours, this one is chosen. That roar was not just noise, my child. It was the decree that shattered the silence around your destiny. And when that sound rippled across realms, every chain the enemy had forged around your opportunities cracked. Every hidden plot against your name began to collapse, and God's voice declared, No more delay, no more hiding. Reveal what was concealed. Do you understand what this means? It means you are stepping into a season where things long buried will rise to the surface. Secrets will be uncovered. The people who plotted behind closed doors will be exposed. The blessings that were blocked will come racing toward you. But for this to happen fully, you must stay until the end of this message, because this message itself is the key, the unlocking point, the moment when knowledge becomes power and revelation becomes freedom. Beloved, do you wonder why Archangel Michael is still in shock? It is because last night's events were unlike anything he has seen over your life. He has fought for you many times, shielded you from countless unseen battles, but never before has heaven issued such a direct order concerning you. God did not simply protect you, He unveiled you. He did not simply shield your life, He highlighted it, called attention to it, and demanded that angels gather and take note. Your name was proclaimed in a way it never has been before. Michael was astonished because the heavens themselves bowed to God's urgency over you, and yet here you are, still unaware of what truly happened. That's why this message is your lifeline. If you let it slip, you will not only lose information, you will miss the activation of the miracle that was released for you last night. Now lean closer, my child, because here is a part of the hidden truth. Someone who once smiled in your face but secretly envied your light was exposed before heaven. Their whispers were replayed, their plots were revealed, and the angels who heard it gasped, because even they were unaware of how deep the deception ran. God did not let them remain hidden. He tore the veil. He showed Michael their true face, their secret intentions. And beloved, let me tell you, the shock was not only Michael's, it was heaven's. They could not believe how long you carried that weight without knowing. But now the hour of revelation has come. Soon, what was whispered in shadows will be shouted in light, and you will stand in truth's freedom. But let me pause to ask you this. Why do you feel a stirring in your chest as you read these words? Why do your eyes move quickly, not wanting to miss a single line? It is because your soul recognizes its own story. Deep down, you always knew something was hidden, something unsaid, something buried. And now, as the words unfold, your spirit is nodding, saying, yes, this is it. What you're feeling right now isn't just a passing emotion. It carries a deeper sense of confirmation, as if something within you has quietly clicked into place. It's the kind of inner awareness that suggests you're standing in alignment with a path that feels destined, as though it was set long before you ever became aware of it. There is a sense that unseen movement has already taken place beyond the limits of time you can measure. Something has been set in motion ahead of your present moment, shaping what is yet to unfold. Paths that once felt blocked are beginning to loosen. Situations that seemed fixed are subtly shifting. Even outcomes that once appeared uncertain are now realigning in ways you could not have orchestrated yourself. In the days ahead, you may notice unexpected clarity, people reappearing with different intentions, opportunities emerging without warning, and answers arriving just as questions begin to form. None of it will feel random when you look back. Instead, it will resemble a sequence quietly guided into place. There is also the awareness that certain things could have gone differently, that confusion or delay might have lingered longer if circumstances had not shifted when they did. Yet something prevented that stagnation from continuing, redirecting the course before it settled too deeply. That sense of urgency you feel comes from recognizing how narrow certain windows can be, how timing often carries more weight than we realize. What is unfolding now feels like a transition point, where what was hidden begins to surface, and what was uncertain starts to take shape, with more clarity and purpose than before. Conversations that would have turned against you were shifted in your favor. A path that was twisted was straightened. And this is why in the days to come, you will begin to see strange alignments, people returning, opportunities surfacing, revelations appearing out of nowhere. It will not be coincidence. It will be the evidence of last night's decree. And here is the hardest part for you to accept. You almost lost it. If heaven had not intervened, the truth would have remained hidden. You would have walked another year in confusion, wondering why certain things never made sense, why betrayals never came to light, why blessings stayed delayed. But God's love for you was too fierce to allow it. That's why he shouted enough. That's why he ordered Michael to act. That's why this message reached you now, because the window of time is narrow. And if you had missed this, you would have missed the moment of your unveiling. That's why urgency burns in every line I write to you, because every second counts, beloved. The reason heaven pressed so urgently last night is because the truth could not remain buried another day. Too many seasons of your life have been lived under a shadow that was never meant to linger. For years, the enemy wrapped lies around your path, hoping you would accept them as your reality. For years, people who claimed closeness disguised themselves, wearing masks that heaven could no longer tolerate. And last night, in one sweeping moment, God said, "Remove the masks, reveal the truth. My child cannot walk blind another day." That decree struck like lightning, and instantly the false coverings around you tore away. Angels gasped, because what was shown was so clear, so undeniable, that none could argue against it. The hidden truth is this: there are people even now who have spoken against you in secret, but their words no longer carry power. God silenced them. He cut their tongues in the spirit. He blocked their arrows before they reached your door. And now, beloved, you are stepping into a freedom you have not tasted before. Do you know why this message burns so deep in you? Because the very forces that tried to keep you ignorant of last night's victory are trembling as you read. They know that once you understand, once you fully awaken, they cannot manipulate you again. This is why you have battled confusion, why your nights have felt restless, why you've wrestled with heaviness you couldn't explain. It wasn't weakness, it was interference. Darkness has always feared the moment you would see clearly, and now that moment has come. The veil is lifting, the truth is standing before you, and heaven rejoices that you will finally walk in the light that has been yours all along. Beloved, Michael is still speaking even now, whispering into your heart. He says, "My beloved, last night your case was settled. You are no longer bound. You are no longer accused. You are no longer hidden. Your blessing has been released, and no power can take it back." Do you hear that? Your blessing has been released. Not tomorrow, not next year. Released. It has already been stamped, already been signed, already been dispatched. The only thing remaining is your awareness, your readiness to receive. That is why you are reading this now. That is why God ordered this message to reach you before it was too late, because your awareness unlocks your reception. If you had ignored this, if you had scrolled away, you would have missed the delivery. But by staying, you are aligning, you are catching, you are opening the door for what has been waiting to enter. And beloved, let me share this. In that heavenly council last night, your name was spoken with tenderness. God called you, "My beloved child, the one I delight in, the one I have kept, the one I am about to lift." Michael bowed his head as God spoke, for even he was moved by the depth of God's love for you. You see, this is not about punishment. This is not about judgment. This is about restoration. God's heart for you is not to remind you of failures, but to remind you of destiny. He is not pointing at your scars to shame you. He is pointing at them to show the battles you have already won. And because you endured, because you held on, because you refused to let go, even when you felt like breaking, heaven has said, "Now is the time. Let the hidden truth be known." let the blessing be revealed. So what is this hidden truth, beloved? It is that you have always been chosen, always been marked, always been loved in ways you cannot fathom. There were moments when life made you believe you had been left behind, unseen and unheard. But deep inside, something kept whispering that your story was not over yet. Even in the quietest battles, when the nights felt heavier than your own thoughts, hope never completely disappeared. What slipped away from your hands was not gone forever. Some things simply needed time before returning in a better form. The delays, the disappointments, the heartbreaks, they were chapters, not the ending. And now, little by little, the weight you carried for so long is beginning to loosen. The confusion that clouded your mind is clearing, and the pain caused by broken trust no longer has the same power over you. A new sense of strength is rising within, stronger than fear and louder than doubt. These words are not here to comfort you with empty promises. They are here to remind you of the resilience that has always lived inside your spirit. You are not meant to stay trapped in old wounds or defined by the seasons that hurt you. Something shifts when a person finally realizes their worth, and that shift is already happening within you. You can feel it in the way your heart refuses to give up, in the way your soul still searches for light after every dark moment. The future no longer feels as distant as it once did. Opportunities, peace, clarity, and healing are slowly making their way toward you. What once felt impossible is beginning to feel real, and this time you are ready to receive it with confidence, courage, and a renewed sense of purpose. That is the truth heaven fought to deliver to you. That is what was decided last night. Beloved, feel the fire in these words. This is not a soft message. It is a sword. It cuts chains. It severs lies. It burns through every barrier that try to keep you from knowing who you really are. And if you stay until the end of this flow, you will not just hear about freedom. You will feel it. You will taste it. You will live it. Already as you read, something is stirring inside you. Already a heaviness is breaking. Already your heart is opening to the possibility that what you thought was impossible is about to happen. And beloved, it will. That is the truth heaven fought to deliver to you. That is what was decided last night. Beloved, I must tell you what Michael whispered after the heavenly council was dismissed. His voice shook, and yet it carried a fire that could not be extinguished. He said, "My beloved still walks as though they are small, but last night heaven announced them as great. They still think they are ordinary, but their name was spoken in a way that shook even the highest angels." Can you feel the weight of that? You have lived so long, thinking you were overlooked, unnoticed, perhaps forgotten, but heaven has been watching, waiting for the moment when your unveiling would come, and last night that unveiling began. It is not coming. It has begun. Even now, as you read, alignments are happening in the background of your life. Conversations are shifting. Hidden documents are being moved. Doors that were welded shut are trembling on their hinges, ready to swing open. And beloved, let me give you another glimpse into what was revealed last night. The record of your enemy's words was read aloud. Every whisper, every false judgment, every attempt to paint you as something you are not, it was laid bare. Nothing was hidden. Nothing was spared. The angels who heard it gasped because the deception was far greater than anyone realized. But God did not let those lies stand. He thundered, "Silence." And when he did, the voices of your accusers fell mute. Their words lost power. Their weapons fell useless. Their plots collapsed into nothing. Michael raised his sword and sealed the silence over them. Beloved, do you know what that means? It means no word spoken against you will stand from this moment forward. It means their accusations have been cancelled in heaven, and when heaven cancels, earth must bow. But let me ask you, why do you think you feel resistance even now trying to pull you away from this message? Why does your phone distract you? Why does your mind wander? Why does your heart tremble between believing and doubting? Because the enemy knows that once you fully receive this truth, he can never bind you again. This is the hour of decision, the moment when you either step into freedom or slip back into shadows. And Michael pleads with you, stay, my beloved. Don't skip. Don't turn away. Every word is a step closer to your release. My child, there is more. Last night, heaven's treasury was opened. Angels brought forth blessings with your name etched on them. Some were opportunities delayed for years. Some were relationships that were blocked. Some were resources withheld. All of them were restored to you by decree. Do you understand? What was taken is being returned. What was denied is being granted. What was withheld is being released. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but in the spirit it has already been dispatched. And soon, beloved, you will see evidence in your daily life. Unexpected calls, sudden breakthroughs, alignments that make no sense to the natural mind. That will not be chance. That will be the result of last night's release. Beloved, take this line deep into your heart. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not abandoned. The hidden truth is that you are beloved beyond words, chosen beyond reason, protected beyond measure. The enemy's greatest trick was to convince you otherwise. But last night, that trick failed. God tore the veil. Michael witnessed it. The truth is out, and now you have a choice. Will you receive it, or will you let it slip? Beloved, hear me now. Something shifted the moment your season began to change, even if you could not see it yet. Quiet movements started unfolding behind the scenes, placing the right people, conversations, and opportunities into alignment with your path. Situations that once felt distant are now slowly turning in your favor, and certain delays are beginning to lose their power over you. Life has a way of preparing things long before they arrive, and many of the answers you have been waiting for are already finding their way toward you. There are moments when everything changes silently. No loud announcement, no dramatic sign, just an invisible turning point that redirects the course of your future. The connections meant for you begin drawing closer. Unexpected support appears from unlikely places. Even those who once overlooked your value may suddenly recognize the light you carry. What once felt blocked can begin opening with surprising ease when the timing finally aligns. Yet the hardest part is realizing that change has already begun. Sometimes people continue carrying fear, doubt, and exhaustion even after the storm has started clearing. It is like standing inside a dim room believing darkness still surrounds you, while outside the morning has already arrived. The light is present, but your heart still needs time to trust it. Take a breath and understand this clearly. You are not standing where you used to be. Growth has already started working quietly within your life. New doors, fresh energy, and unexpected breakthroughs are closer than you think. Stop speaking to yourself like nothing is changing. The chapter ahead of you carries more hope, peace, and purpose than the one you are leaving behind. That is what this message is doing. It is pulling the curtains. It is opening the windows. It is flooding you with the light that was released last night. Beloved, let me tell you about the moment God turned to Michael after the council was over. He said, "Go tell them, but tell them quickly. Tell them with urgency. Tell them that if they do not open this message, they will walk blind while their blessing passes them by." Michael bowed and said, "Yes, my Lord," and then he came to you. That is why these words feel different. That is why they pull at you. That is why you cannot scroll past them. Because this is not a human voice only. It is heaven's echo calling you to stop, to read, to awaken before the window closes. My beloved, do not miss the seriousness of this. There is a window of time open for you right now. It is not forever. It is not indefinite. It is brief, urgent, burning. If you respond, if you open, if you receive, you will step into the full unveiling. But if you ignore it, if you delay, the window will shut, and once shut, the truth will not be easily revealed again. That is why God said, "Hurry." This is their last chance to know the hidden truth. Beloved, the weight of that statement cannot be taken lightly. This is not just another message. This is not just another word. This is the lifeline God threw into your storm. Take hold of it now, because it may not pass this way again. Beloved, let me tell you about the moment God turned to Michael after the council was over. He said, "Go tell them, but tell them quickly. Tell them with urgency. Tell them that if they do not open this message, they will walk blind while their blessing passes them by." Michael bowed and said, "Yes, my Lord." And then he came to you. That is why these words feel different. That is why they pull at you. That is why you cannot scroll past them. Because this is not a human voice only. It is heaven's echo, calling you to stop, to read, to awaken before the window closes. My beloved, do not miss the seriousness of this. There is a window of time open for you right now. It is not forever. It is not indefinite. It is brief, urgent, burning. If you respond, if you open, if you receive, you will step into the full unveiling. But if you ignore it, if you delay, the window will shut. And once shut, the truth will not be easily revealed again. That is why God said, "Hurry." This is their last chance to know the hidden truth. Beloved, the weight of that statement cannot be taken lightly. This is not just another message. This is not just another word. This is the lifeline God threw into your storm. Take hold of it now, because it may not pass this way again. And here is what the hidden truth means in your practical life. People who doubted you will soon witness what they cannot deny. The very ones who questioned your worth will be silenced by what God does in your life. The very ones who tried to close doors will watch as new doors open that no one can shut, and you will not need to defend yourself. You will not need to argue. You will not need to prove anything. The truth itself will defend you. God himself will prove you, and Michael will stand guard to make sure no hand can snatch away what has been released. Beloved, do you feel the stirring yet? Do you feel the trembling inside you that says, "This is for me"? That trembling is not fear. It is alignment. It is the vibration of your spirit finally catching up to what heaven already knows. Last night, the hidden truth was written into your story, and tonight it is being revealed to you. All you must do is receive, stay, and believe. Beloved, there is something else heaven revealed last night that you must hear, for it changes everything you thought you knew. A record of your pain was brought forward. Every betrayal, every tear, every night you cried silently, thinking no one saw. And instead of those moments being hidden, they were displayed like jewels before the throne. Angels bowed their heads as they watched, because even they had not seen the full measure of your endurance. And then God spoke. This one did not break. This one still breathes with faith. This one deserves restoration. At that moment, what the enemy meant for harm was transformed into evidence for your elevation. Do you understand? What tried to destroy you became the very proof heaven used to lift you higher. And beloved, here is what shocks Michael most. While heaven rejoiced over your strength, you still walked unaware of your worth. There are moments in life when people begin to feel invisible, as if their efforts, dreams, and struggles no longer matter. But sometimes, a single realization can shift everything. The weight you have been carrying was never meant to define you. The setbacks, disappointments, and silent battles were not signs of weakness. They were chapters shaping your resilience. Too often, people spend years believing they are trapped by fear, doubt, or old wounds, without noticing that the door has already been opened. The truth is, your worth has never depended on rejection, delays, or the opinions of others. It has always existed within you, waiting to be recognized. Every difficult season carried a lesson. Every heartbreak revealed strength you did not know you possessed. And every closed path redirected you towards something greater. What once felt like loss may soon make sense in ways you never expected. Life has a strange way of restoring hope when people are closest to giving up. New opportunities appear, meaningful connections return, and clarity replaces confusion. The future begins changing the moment you stop seeing yourself through the lens of failure and start recognizing your own potential. Hold on to that thought carefully, because mindset shapes direction. When people finally believe they deserve peace, growth, and happiness, they begin moving differently. They stop chasing validation and start attracting purpose. The next chapter of your life does not need to look like the last one. Something brighter can begin with a single decision to trust yourself again, walk forward with confidence, and leave behind the belief that you were ever forgotten.